Hello, everybody. Welcome back. DLT. Okay, I think I just realized that I think we're on week 4 now. I don't know. I'm a little thrown off. I know we're talking about cutting sugar, and we're going to talk about how to fast. Let me pull up this presentation for y'all.
I thought we were on week 3, Shannon.
I know, I thought it was week 3 too from the email I sent out, but I pulled up my week 3 presentation and it's not right.
Wishing home now.
Okay, we did whole foods and then we did mindful meals. Did we do fat fasting last week?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Anyone else? Could have sworn we did fat fasting. We didn't do adding all the healthy fats.
Yeah,
No,
I think we
ma'am.
did fat fasting
Yes,
last week.
we did.
Okay. I thought we did. I was like, I think my email I sent y'all just threw me off. That
Distributed by 3,500 giving partners across all 50 states. And with 140 million donations counting, the impact is real.
I'm gonna mute everybody. Hold on a sec. Okay, we did fat fasting last week, so we're on cutting sugar and how to fast. If I missed something, I'll go back. But that's what we'll go. That's where we will go today. Okay. So we talked about optimizing the diet by using whole food and by fat fasting and using those fats to keep us satiated during our meals. And this week is going to continue through optimizing the diet, but also I want to touch on going into fasting. So hopefully you are ready for that. If you're not, it's totally fine. You can just put it in your back pocket until you want to. This is your lifestyle, and I'm just giving you the tools to be able to use it however you wish. So whole food plate, we talked about mindful eating. I know we talked about plating and like the hunger scale, and then last week was adding in those healthy fats to our meals and considering a fat fast prior to going into fasting and or coming off of vacation, or if you're a person that has come from a very like highly high carbohydrate diet and the cravings are difficult, fat fasting is really good for that, really good. And it can help, and you don't have to fat fast every day. And it's also, remember, it's not actually a fast. It's eating when you want to and just training your body to eat when you feel hungry and filling up on those fats, healthy fats, because they are the most satiating macronutrient on a neurological level. And then there's something even more, and it's cutting the sugar out. Now, I know I've touched on it, but I'm going to go into the valley of cutting sugar and why we need to do it. This is what happens to your body when you stop eating refined sugar. First of all, I think we probably all know this, but it's better for our teeth. My husband is a huge sweet eater, and he has had like almost every tooth you can have with a crown on it redone. He actually had a cracked crown yesterday. He's still like, I saw a whole box of cookies in the bottom of our garbage can this morning, and I'm like, and you wonder. Now you can't help the people closest to you. I've tried, but I will help you. Cutting it out can lead to improved dental health and better breath. I didn't know that. Reduced risk of chronic disease. I think we probably all know that. Improved gut health. So refined sugar can disrupt the balance of our beneficial gut bacteria. I know people are a little obsessed in the past few years about gut bacteria and like how to get it just right. Honestly, like if you take the sugar out, it can help balance things out a lot better. The microbiome wants whole foods, and if you do that, you'll be good. Better sleep. So some individuals find that reducing sugar intake can lead to improved sleep quality, clearer, healthier skin, premature signs of aging from sugar, which makes sense when you connect that with chronic disease. You start to see the decay of our body on the outside and the inside from eating sugar. A more stabilized mood, by eliminating it, you can experience more stable moods, predictable emotional health, balanced blood sugar levels, which seems kind of obvious, but if it's not, sugar is the main culprit of why carbs are raising our insulin and our blood glucose so much. Carbs break down into sugar and they raise our blood sugar levels. So eliminating the refined sugar and the refined carbs can help regulate our blood sugar levels. It's going to lead to weight loss. It's going to lead to improved energy levels. You're going to get a sugar spike when you intake sugar, and what goes up must come down. So you're going to have that energy fluctuation throughout the day when you add sugar in. So when you stop consuming sugar, you may experience more stable and sustained energy. So overall, you should feel better getting the sugar out. It's not easy to do because it's such an addictive chemical, but it is possible and it takes a lot of willpower. So if you're willing, let's go for it. Here's some tips for quitting sugar. First, we have to educate ourselves, which we're doing now. Like, you have to have a reason why you would want to cut something out that is so delicious. It's because it's better for our health, right? It's all about the long term. It's all about that long-term longevity, our long-term health. But also right now, because in the short term, it will just make you feel better and more stabilized. We want to choose whole foods more often. So if you're experiencing cravings for sugar, fruit is a great substitute. And I always, always, always try to include a healthy fat with your fruit. That will help slow down the insulin release that you're getting from the natural sugars in fruit. Natural sugar in fruit is totally fine. But a healthy fat will help slow down that blood sugar rise. So if you're having a sugar craving, grab a banana, add some peanut butter. Grab an apple, add some peanut butter. Or do some berries with some full fat yogurt. Or do some cheese with some grapes. You can make a little charcuterie snack. Well, hopefully not a snack. Meal. Also, one thing I think we talked about this, cutting snacks and adding those snacks to the end of the meal. I had to do that the other night. Like, I just wasn't quite satisfied. So if you need to add a little something at the end, a handful of nuts or a little bit of fruit for dessert, you can do it that way. Reduce gradually. So take it down a notch at a time if you need to. Some people are cold turkey. Some people like to play the game of reducing gradually. And that's probably a little bit easier. I'm not sure. It just depends on your mind and your willpower and how you are wired. But every little bit counts, and we can just continue to reduce and then stay hydrated, because like most things that we're addicted to, you might experience a headache if you're used to having sugar every day. So make sure you're keeping your water nearby and you're staying hydrated. Mindful eating can really help with quitting sugar. Just paying attention to what your body needs. And if it's craving sugar, see if you can replace that with something a little less detrimental. Maybe it's, like I said, the fruit. Maybe it's a sweet potato, like really does it for me. If I add a sweet potato to my meal, that gives me like enough natural sweetness. So just think of ways like What do you need? And again, like the yogurt and the fruit really does it for me too. Get moving. So as soon as you start moving, this is especially important after eating a meal to kind of get up and get moving after you eat, because as your blood sugar rises, it'll start burning off any blood sugar by moving your body a little bit. And then prioritize your sleep. Sleep is so important, and I have a whole week on sleep that's going to go more into this, but the better you sleep, the better your choices are going to be, because you have more willpower when you get more sleep. And ideally, you want to get 7 to 9 hours a night. I know that probably sounds crazy to some people, but that's how we function properly. That's how we make better decisions. That's how we stay more balanced. And that's how we can quit sugar more easily if we have our head on straight the next day. All right. So what is sugar? I know, go ahead and ask me in the chat box if this counts, if that counts. It all counts. If it's sweet, if it tastes sweet, there's typically sugar involved. Now, I'm not talking about fruit and not talking about fruit. I am talking about products that taste sweet. They've had something added to them. All right. So even natural, well, I say natural. How do they call these? Like the honeys and the maple syrups and the agave sweeteners that come from natural sources, I guess. Monk fruit, it's still raising our insulin levels. Even 0-calorie sweeteners, the stevia, the aspartame, anything ending in AME or OSE, fructose, dextrose, what else? Sucralose. Linda, are y'all seeing your sweeteners on the list? Erythritol. Erythritol is in so many things. Sweet and low. Honey, all of it counts. And even if no monk fruit is on the list, even if you're not getting like an immediate reaction to sugar, like an immediate insulin response, like a lot of people will say things like, oh, well, I wear the Dexcom monitor and stevia is not affecting my glucose when I intake it. It can affect you by creating sugar cravings continuously. So even like having sweet in our mouth and in our mind makes us want more of it. So keep that in mind too. Yeah, this is depressing. All right, I will say that once you get sugar out, life is actually a lot sweeter because you're not worried about it. You don't have to have it. You're not craving it. As soon as it's out of your body, you're not craving it like you used to. And then like Easter's coming up this weekend. It's probably not the best time to try this out, but having a bite is totally fine. Like that's not going to ruin our health. It's having these sweeteners and this sugar in our system every day. So I'm not talking about holidays. I'm not talking about your birthday. I am talking about like your neighbor's birthday and your best friend's birthday and your sister, all 6 of your sister's birthdays. We don't have to celebrate with sugar for everybody's birthday, but we can limit it to ours or our children or our spouse, maybe our immediate family. And then holidays, you can have a bite here and there. Okay. And then I listened to this guy. His name is Jason. No, that's not that guy. What's this guy's name? He's a Harvard medical doctor. He's all about longevity. I'm going to send him to y'all eventually so you can look him up and watch his podcast. But he says he David Sinclair is the name. He says that he steals a bite of like ice cream or whatever from his kids, and he said that doesn't count. So if you want to use that every now and then, that's fine. All right, where is sugar? A lot of sugar is in our drinks. I can't tell y'all how many times I've walked into the gas station and tried to find a drink without sugar. That's not just water. Like I'm on a road trip. I'm always the one driving. I've been driving for 6 hours with 2 kids in the back and my husband asleep in the passenger seat. And I just want something to drink that's not water. And it's like nearly impossible to find something in the gas station without sugar. Even just like a lot of times I just want a coffee that's in a can that's cold that doesn't have 30 grams of sugar in it. That would be nice. Or tea, or like a green tea or anything. Drinks have all the sugar. I drink water most of the time, and I have like a LaCroix daily. I have one LaCroix every day, and it's the limoncello. If you haven't tried it, it's awesome. So that's kind of my treat is the LaCroix and then coffee and tea. But yeah, a lot of our drinks have the sugar in it. A lot of our snacks and sweets, which we know that. Things in a package, of course. And the easy way to tell now is to look at the added sugar line. But I can't remember if I put that in this. No, I didn't put that in this. The added sugar line will easily tell you if there's sugar in a product, but if it's a 0-calorie sugar like stevia or aspartame or Splenda, any of these on the list back there, if there's 0-calorie, they won't show up on the added sugar line. So you have to know to look for those in the ingredient list, which is why it's really best to stay away from packaged foods as much as possible, and then be very choosy about the ones that you do use. I have packaged foods that I use, but I'm very, very choosy, just like the peanut butter, just like the yogurt. Super choosy. I want minimal ingredients, and I definitely don't want you adding sugar anywhere. All right, prepared dishes. Watch out for added sugar in like the frozen food aisle too. Dairy, yogurt is a huge culprit. It's so hard to find dairy or yogurt without sugar. Especially if you want like any flavor in the yogurt, it's gonna have sugar. Condiments and dressings, ketchup. My 3-year-old's so obsessed with ketchup, and I'm like, I have to let her live. Like she is a child. So I searched the grocery aisle up and down. And I finally found ketchup without sugar. So I let her have it. I don't have like a particular yogurt brand, but I just always stick with the plain whole milk yogurt because that's all that's going to be in it is the yogurt, nothing else. Whole plain milk yogurt. All right, sugar-free ketchup is out there. And then also like there's this whole line of dressings. I think it's Primal maybe that has a lot of different dressings without the sugar added to it. I think I told y'all this last week, but salad, I just throw olive oil, balsamic vinegar, salt, and pepper over the top of my salad, and that's fine. Like you don't have to get fancy with the dressings. Vegetables, fruit juice, typically not going to have sugar if it's bought straight out of the, produce aisle. But if you're in the canned aisles and in the frozen food aisles, beware because they're going to add something to it if they can. All right, that's it on sugar. Let's go into fasting. So for fasting, I want you to start considering the 16-8 protocol. It's the one to start with. It's 16 hours of fasting. It's 8 hours of a window to eat. And this is what it would look like if you were to do it every day. So You do not have to adopt these particular hours because your hours might be very different, but this would be like a 12 to 8 window, meaning you would break your fast at noon, you would have lunch, and then you would eat dinner around 7 and be finished by 8. And you may notice that there are no snacks in here. So just because it's an eating window doesn't mean it's a free-for-all to eat from 12 to 8. It means that you're starting one meal within the window, and then you're going to end with a second meal in the window. So you can incorporate a third meal in that window if you really wanted to. So if you wanted to do like 12 o'clock eat and then eat something else at 3:30 and then eat again at 7. I think that's somewhat evenly split. You could do like 12, 3:30, and 7, and that would be fine too, as long as you're fasting between the hours of 8 p.m. to 12 the next day. And again, it doesn't have to be that way. Like my window is more like 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. because I eat dinner earlier. And honestly, like the earlier you eat dinner, the better it's going to be. Earlier you eat, the better. But this is just an example of what it could look like to do a 16-8. The goal is to do most days of a 16-8, especially just to get your body used to it and get in the routine and rhythm of it. I think it's harder at first to go back and forth, but you can if you want. You could start off with trying like 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, trying the 16-8 protocol. And then eventually, I'm just giving you your long-term goals. Eventually, I would love for you to work towards a 24-hour protocol, and that is not exactly skipping a meal. You're not going a whole day without a meal, but you are going from, and this is an example, lunch on Sunday to lunch on Monday. So that's 24 hours. You eat at 12 o'clock on Sunday, then you eat again at 12 o'clock on Monday. So that's where you really would experience that autophagy. Going a little bit further into that 24-hour. Autophagy starts around 16 to 18 hours. So of course, the longer you're in autophagy, the more benefits you're going to get. But yes. Is that the beginner fasting? 16-8, yeah, that's definitely the beginning protocol for fasting for 16 hours. Now, if you want to work your way up to 16 hours, that's totally fine. If you want to start with a 12-hour fast at first, going from 8p to 8a, that's fine. And then you could like push it as you're ready. 8p to 9a, 8p to 10a, and you can push it that way if you want. So everyone I want you to try to find what works best for you. To keep blood sugar steady for diabetes, how does the fasting work with that? Sherry, I'll talk to you offline about diabetes and fasting. All right. Here's our starting protocol. I forgot to put this on here. Here's our starting. All right, let's start with Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I just wanted you to know what your what the long-term goal was as we can keep moving forward. Let's try Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week. And you can pick your hours, your window, okay? And if you have any questions about what that means, picking a 16-8 window, just let me know. I'm happy to work through it individually with you and find like what works best for you. The biggest thing with choosing your time is just make sure that it works for you and your family and your job and all the things that you have to do, because if it's not feasible for your lifestyle, then it's really not worth it. We want it to work with your lifestyle. All right, when you're fasting, remember to fill up on fluids. So water, number one, key. Coffee you can have, and you can also add healthy fats to your coffee. So if you wanted to add something like, okay, my go-to is unsweetened vanilla almond milk. I love it. You can also add like half and half. You could add heavy whipping cream, like a tablespoon. You could add coconut cream. You can add, what is it called? Branched chain amino acids. I'll have to look it up. Medium MTC oil, medium MTC, medium triglyceride, MCT, medium chain triglyceride oil. If you want to add MCT oil to your coffee, you can. That's a good healthy fat. I really like my go-to when I started fasting was adding the MCT oil to my unsweetened vanilla almond milk and blending it, and it gets really thick and frothy, and adding that to my coffee. And that will hold you over to lunch. You'll be good. Do not do not blend your coffee in the NutriBullet. I'm just going to tell you that from experience, unless you want coffee all over your house. But you can blend the MCT oil and the milk together. Or you could, I guess you could blend it with like heavy cream or half and half. You could do that too. Just to get some good healthy fat into your coffee to help with your fast. Now these are called training wheels that I am eventually going to ask you to drop off, but it does really, really help with a fast. You can add that to your tea, and then you could also use broth to help you get through a fast. So you could use, typically when you're going into a fast, your electrolytes can get a little off from the salt imbalance, and that's where broth can help. So if you start to feel like a twinge of a headache, make sure you're hydrated, number one, with water, and then maybe have a cup of broth for the salt because it'll help balance things out. Yes, any half and half is fine. Bulletproof broth. I tried to mix it with milk frother and I got a bath. Yeah, I am there with you. No sweeteners, no sugar substitutes, no sweeteners. We're cutting that out, but you can do healthy fats. All right, fasting tips. Fit it into your life and your schedule. Prepare before the fast with a healthy meal. So if you know you're going to fast the next day, make sure you're getting a good, healthy meal with good, healthy fats in it to prepare you for your fast the next day. Remember to ride the hunger waves. So hunger waves come and go. And typically, if you grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, drink some water, maybe a cup of broth, it'll help. It'll help. Stay busy. Try to pick a day where you have a lot going on and you're not even going to be thinking about it and you're just going to zoom through that fast. Use the training wheels. Make sure you're balancing coffee, tea with water because it's a little dehydrating. Make sure you're hydrating on the front end and the back end. And then prepare after the fast to have a healthy meal. Make sure you are already prepared for that meal you're going to break your fast with. Make sure it's good, it's balanced, it's whole foods because you're going to be hungry. Make sure you are set up to eat a good, healthy meal. Give your body time to adjust. It takes about 2 weeks to get used to fasting. Take notes. What's going on? How are you feeling? Is it harder when you do this? Is it easier when you do this? What's working? Always be safe and stop fasting if you need to. So our goals for this week are to continue the whole foods, continue the mindfulness when we're eating, use that plating method, add the healthy fats, remove the sugar. Remember, healthy fats are going to push the carb cravings out. And then let's start a fasting protocol. Maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days, maybe more. Let's see how you're feeling. Okay, and this was my final tip and takeaway. Look for that added sugar line. This is where it is on the label. So this was our old labels. It just would have sugar. Now we have total sugars and we have added sugars. So you can really see if there is a caloric sugar there. If it's a non-caloric sugar, not going to be there. So you got to check the ingredient list. And I sent you this presentation so you have all the names of the sugars on that list to look out for. It's kind of easier if you stick to like the end. Remember I mentioned like OSE, OS, if you see names ending in that, or AIME, AME, it's like a dead giveaway that that's sugar. All right. That's it for today. I'm going to go back and make sure that we covered everything we needed to, since we're on, I guess we're on week 4, and I thought we were on week 3, but I'll figure that out. Okay. I'm going to stay on because I have a lot of questions in the chat box, but y'all are welcome to head out if you need to, and I'll get to these questions. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.